Welcome back to the Valley High School Football Preview Show as we continue to count it down to tomorrow night as we get ready for the first night of action in high school football in the Rio Grande Valley. And joining us now, again, Greg Tepper, the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And Greg, as we continue on to the 6A ranks here, let's talk macro here. The Valley 2 years ago, when they did this realignment, we lost a 6A district and kind of put a bunch of teams in two 5A districts. It's really made things much tougher for Valley teams to get in the postseason.
Yeah, 100%. And the road got tougher because you're seeing teams from San Antonio earlier. You know what I mean? You're seeing them in the second round, the area round, instead of the third round, the regional semifinals. So it's a tougher road, plain and simple. And so that's the challenge. But you know what? You talk with any of those coaches down there, they say, you know what? You're going to have to beat them eventually. You're going to have to go out there. If you want to prove yourself, you're going to have to go out there and beat some of these San Antonio teams. And so I don't think it's necessarily that suddenly they're just going to bow out in the first round and just lay down. I think that they're going to have some opportunities to make some noise. It's just they're going to have to be peaking a little bit earlier in order to get past some of those big metro area teams.
Now we'll talk playoff teams here. Mission was in the mix last year. They took on Edinburgh Vela in the district championship game. Vela ended up winning that. Mission had been used to being in the district title mix back in the old 36A, but they've lost a quarterback due to transfer, and they've got a new coach as well as Coy Detmer moved on to Somerset.
Yeah, I think the top of this district is really interesting between Vela and Mission. You know, you look at what Vela brings back, and I think an opportunity to really go out there and make some noise if they can fill in a couple of spots, most notably at the quarterback spot. You know, AJ Sotelo, I think, did a lot for that offense. And really, it's not even just the plays that he made, but it's also just the leadership that he showed. And I think that that's going to be really important is can they find that new quarterback? It sounds like they like this kid, Chase Campbell, to take over, but you never know until he gets in there. You know, for Mission, this is an interesting situation there. I'm interested to see how Coach Longoria kind of acquits himself to this program, gets used to being in there. I will say that having a couple of guys on the defensive side to carry the load early, like Luis Balderas and Luis Barceño, I think that's going to do some wonders for them. But, you know, you're going to have some questions offensively. Where are they going to go offensively? That's a big question. That may give Vela the very early edge. But you also, the fact that they won't face each other until later in the season, I think also gives Mission an opportunity to maybe get up to speed and catch up to those SaberCats.
So would you say that's 1-2? And if they are, where do they rank? And then what would you go 3-4?
Yeah, I will go with Vela 1 right now, Mission 2. I reserve the right to change my mind depending on if Mission is able to get things going, especially under the new coach. My third pick there is Psja North. They bring back every one of their starters offensively, and I think from a team that made the playoffs, I think they are trending upward. They may even be, if you're looking for a party crasher at the top of the district, I think North is that team. For now, I'm going to go with Edinburgh High as my fourth team. I think the matchup between Edinburgh and North is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go with Edinburgh High as my fourth spot right now. I think that they're going to be able to kind of put things together, and Coach Guzman is going to get them moving in the right direction sooner as opposed to later. So those are my four for now.
Let's shift gears to 32-6A now, Greg. This one's always fun because it means the Battle of the Arroyo is in this district. Some coaching changes in here as well. We talked about David Cantu earlier, leaving Brownsville Veterans. He goes to his alma mater in Los Fresnos. This is a team that is used to being here, and they've kind of struggled over the last couple of years since they had that third-round appearance back in 2017. Your thoughts on if Los Fresnos can make it back?
Yeah, I think that they can. And I think that getting a guy who understands that program and understands the ins and outs and how it works is going to be huge with Coach Cantu. And this is I think that what you see is that the standard has been set there. Everyone who walks through those doors for the Falcons understands the standard, understands what they're supposed to live up to. And I think that they are going to be able to get back up to that.
And the other one going back, at least to his home school district, is Izzy Gonzalez going from Lyford, where he had a ton of success, going to Harlingen South. That's a tough place to win, or at least traditionally has been a tough place to win. But when they've won in big ways. How quickly can Izzy Gonzalez turn this around?
I think this is I think Izzy Gonzalez to Harlingen South is one of the most underrated and underappreciated coaching changes of the offseason across the state of Texas. Because you're right. What he did at Lyford was really, really impressive. I mean, that was a program that he really turned into a consistent, quality product. And you're right. At Harlingen South, it's tough to win. But at the same time, I think he's taking over a program that may not necessarily need a ton to get them right back into their winning ways. They bring back their quarterback in Xavier Cazares. I think that this was an inspired hire for Harlingen South to bring in Izzy Gonzalez. I think the Hawks are going to be winning sooner as opposed to later.
All right, let's get to the teams we think might make the playoffs here. The best game that didn't actually happen last year was Harlingen and kind of Brownsville-Hanna. They were supposed to play for the district championship. They ended up playing as co-champions and going into the postseason. Hanna is always good under Mark Guess, especially even if they're down one year, they're immediately back the next year. Are you thinking Harlingen stays atop the district, and how do 2, 3, 4 shake out? Or why don't you just give me your 1 through 4? I don't want to put words.
Yeah, I am going to take Harlingen as my 1. And in fact, if you're looking for a 6A team that is best suited to make a run, it may be Harlingen, depending on how the brackets break. I think that they've got an opportunity to make a deep run in the playoffs if things kind of go their way. I'll go with San Benito too, just basically a lot based on pedigree. Brownsville-Hanna is my 3rd for now. What I will say, in week 1, they get Mercedes. If they go out there and they beat Mercedes, let's talk, because I may be ready to bump them up. I'm really interested in this Brownsville-Hanna squad. I think the offense has an opportunity to really take a big step, and that's certainly saying something. And then my 4th spot right now, I'm going to go with Weslaco. I think that's probably the safer pick, even with a really young team right now. But I'm telling you, knocking on that door is Harlingen South and Los Fresnos. If Weslaco isn't on their game, both those teams are going to be good enough to up and nip them, and then suddenly the bottom of that district gets turned upside down.
We'll continue on with the Valley High School Football Preview Show coming up next.